Okay, apparently we're live. That's what the system's telling me. So hopefully, excuse me. Hopefully everyone will drop in. Oh, I see Luke and Musical Aviator. Luke, if you think I was talking about an ice cream when I mentioned the Gaytime, you might be disappointed. Or maybe not, you know. Anything can happen. It's a wild and crazy time. Our live streams do a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, just organizing the chat windows. Yes, Musical Aviator, happy Animal Cruelty Day. Yeah, they managed to kill another horse today in the Melbourne Cup. But no, it's not a cruel and unnecessary pastime, the old horse racing. It's great. It's great for the horses. Hello, Catherine. How are you? So just, I think I'm all settled in now. It's I'm always trying to, am I framed up right? Is my, you know, I'm trying to do, am I looking, I'm not looking symmetrical, am I? It's like, oh, well, say la vie, I'm all over the shop. That's just the way I am. Let me go for the live chat. Musical Aviator, no, they didn't advertise the Melbourne Cup in the Opera House. That's why that whole bizarre bullshit with Alan Jones threatening the head of the Opera House Trust and getting his mate's event promoted. It's fucking disgusting. Like it's not even, there's not even any cultural significance to the race that he bullied his way into getting advertised. Like the race has only existed for 2 years. It's just like, oh man, if seriously, I mean, if law enforcement looked seriously into Alan Jones's behavior and business dealings, I don't think he'd come out of it real well. Quite interesting. Yeah, there was a lot of rains, I have to admit. When it started raining reasonably heavily this morning, it made me laugh thinking of all the horsey types trying desperately to continue to function in the rain with their expensive outfits, and them getting drunk and wallowing in the mud. And particularly, I'm looking forward to in the next day or so. British media tends to love running pictures of dressed up Australians falling down drunk and being obnoxious at these racing events in the Spring Racing Carnival. I reckon there'll be some good photos in the next day or so. And hello, Tendai and Charlie. Good to see you all. Yes, so, oh my God, I got really irrationally angry. Like, you know, often when I do the angry videos, I'm putting on a performance. I don't usually say things I don't believe, but the degree of anger I'm expressing is something I'm letting flow. Like, it would be very easy for me to not express it in such an angry way, you know, that's the persona. But yeah, I flew off the handle a bit today on Twitter, just seeing someone defending how shit horse racing is by saying the people criticizing it were elitist because having a punt's very working class. And it's like, get fucked, you piece of shit. The horse racing industry is the province of the ultra rich, and the gambling industry is the province of the ultra rich, and the gambling industry leeches millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars out of the working class. The gambling is so much the enemy of the working class, and this smug fuck acting like they're super edgy, like, oh, you're only against Melbourne Cup because you're elitist. It's really working class. Like, get fucked, you muppet. Honestly, that was really sort of pissing me off. Oh God, Charlie, possums broke into your bathroom. Possums in enclosed spaces are terrible. They can cause a lot of damage. They can panic, or even if they're not panicking, they can just mess stuff up. That's a real worry. What's that, Luke? Metro train stopped at Melbourne Showgrounds. 20-minute walk from the race. That's true. They would have a bit of trouble. I think there are trams that go a bit closer than the train station. Oh no! Bad planning on your neighbour's musical aviator. They put down some topsoil, and this rain has just washed it all away. Now you've got a mud-covered driveway. They lose their topsoil, and you have a mud-covered driveway. That sucks. I can see why that would be frustrating. It's like, oh yeah, Tendai. Yeah, this guy's so much edge you could cut them in. That is something that annoys me. People trying to be edgy and contrarian, and they're like, nah, yeah, man, I'm just shit posting. It's like, well, no, you're just a fucking awful person, quite honestly. Oh, Charlie, you were able to remove the possums they were calm enough to remove. Oh, right. You think maybe their home tree might have come down in the storms. That's distinctly possible. Although I think possums kind of like living in houses. A place I lived in until a couple of years ago, when we moved in, there was a hole in the roof somewhere, like broken tiles, where possums were getting in. So there were just possums living in the ceiling crawl space, and that's not good because possums are really noisy, and in fact, possums fighting and possums fucking sounds exactly the same. Sounds like screaming demons from hell, basically. And getting that suddenly above your bed while you're sleeping is really fucking disturbing. I'll tell you that much for free. Oh, Luke's saying the train stopped there because the track flood. Yeah, there was a bit of flooding. There are a couple of areas of Melbourne that are notorious for it. It's probably, there's one or two famous underpasses. There's one in Footscray and there's one somewhere else where the road goes down a dip under a train line, and the drainage is really bad. So if it rains heavily, flash floods, this whole underpass floods. Timothy, you reckon gambling should be outlawed? I don't think you can outlaw gambling because then it will just continue as an illegal activity because people are always gambling. I don't think they should advertise gambling, and I don't think gambling should be like dressed up as this family-friendly thing and Aussie thing to do. It's bullshit. If people want to gamble, fine, but it shouldn't be promoted the way it is. It's pretty fucked. Luke, pubs won't shut down if they outlaw gambling. Pubs existed before pokies were in pubs. Pubs without pokies do quite well. Putting pokies in pubs and clubs is just greed, quite honestly. Tendo, you can outlaw loot boxes. Did that go through? That was somewhere in Europe or something, wasn't it? They were going to outlaw loot boxes in games because it was gambling for kids. Hi, Raylene. I know we've only been going 10 minutes, so we've just started talking about the obvious, the Melbourne Cup. So we're just getting going. So welcome. Good to have you on board. And the name I gave this live stream, I do actually have a salty Gaytime in the freezer. I saw it in the supermarket today, and they were on special, and I love a bargain. So I'm going to try it. Although I'm not sure how to be because they've brought out a couple of different flavors, and I like the original Gaytime, and none of the flavors they've brought out have been an improvement. So I'm going to try a salty Gaytime at some point. Luke, you young thing, you. Yes. It was not that long ago, I know, a couple of decades, that there were no pokies in pubs. It's very much a greed thing. The government is greedy for the taxes they get from it, and the venues are greedy for sucking all the dollars out of their customers' pockets. So yeah. Catherine, was I able to avoid the cup craziness? Yeah, I just stayed at home, and certainly didn't have anything on the TV that was related to it. Well, musically, the green and gold and unicorn one, certainly, you know, wonderful gayness of them. But taste-wise, neither of them were as good as the original. I did try them; they're not as good as the original. But yes. I say, Raylene, at RSL and Bayswater, there's a card thing where you pay $1 a go to get a chance to win. A few old guys put in $30 each and use the winnings to get drinks. Better to spend $30. Yeah, people are convinced they're going to win when they gamble, and the one golden rule of gambling is the house always wins. Individual people may have individual wins, but overall, every gambling system in the world is purposefully engineered for the punters to lose overwhelmingly. And the people running the betting system will always win. They may have the occasional payout, but they'll always win. David, yes, the Gaytime is Erica Betts's least favorite ice cream. Here I'm ragging on gambling. I mean, you know, I can't resist the impulse to occasionally get like a lotto ticket. You know, I don't buy a lot of them, but yeah, occasionally see something that goes, oh, Division 1, $60 million, and wow, if I lay out a few dollars here, I can change the odds of me winning that prize from absolutely zero to just marginally above zero, like in mathematical terms, just barely measurable improvement on zero. Yeah, the lotto is a good way to throw a few dollars away because, yeah, again, the odds are so astronomically against you. I said, David, you put in $5 in a pokey once and pulled out 3,000 pure luck. I visited Las Vegas years ago with my ex. She had family there, and on my last night there, I decided I was going to walk down the strip, go into every casino on the strip, big and small, and find one slot machine and put like $1 in it and then move on. And I didn't win anything, and I often like, because they have the novelty ones as well, big ones that are meant to sucker the tourists, and they're probably a worse chance than ever. And in one of the small casinos, I have no idea what the place was called, but in one of the smaller casinos, they had the big novelty one. I put $1 in, pulled the big lever, and the big tumblers come around and go clunk, clunk, clunk. And the jackpot, like, was half a click away on every row. Like, it was like jackpot, 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 but each wheel needed to go one click further. So I just missed it. And now this would have only been a couple $1,000s. Like, it wasn't a huge payout. But it was really weird to see it be that close. If I'd have got it, it would have paid for my holiday. But I was just doing it for fun, for the experience. Like I literally, like I said, I just walked down the strip and went in every casino, played a pokey once, and then moved on to the next casino. That took a long time. That was like 4 hours or something. It took. I don't know. I know where I grew up in Dubbo, in Western New South Wales, my grandparents were in the local bowling club, lawn bowls, and there were pokies there because it was a club. And my mum used to go around there like once a week. I think she had a budget. I don't know how much she put in, $20 or $50. Never came out ahead, but it was just a little thing she liked to do. But yeah, gambling is creepily addictive. It's basically preying on people's desperation. Catherine, you would be bored after 4 hours, but it was 4 hours I was walking. Like the strip is a couple of miles and there's a lot of casinos. And the time taken to walk into a casino, find a thing, pull the thing, and then walk out and walk into the next one. That's what took all the time. And I know I wasn't bored because there's so much going on the strip. There's like colored lights flashing at you everywhere. Man, they spend a lot of money in Vegas in the attempt to get your money out of you. That's very weird. Really, your grandma would spend $50 on the pokers and $20 a week lotto. Yeah, it's very. The trouble is, it's very easy for it to get out of control. You can start off being a very sort of sober, controlled gambler and say, look, here's my limit. I'm definitely only doing this $5 or this $10. And but the gambling by its nature is very addictive, and you always got this thought, oh, just a little bit more, like, or if you have a little bit of luck, it's like, oh, yeah, things are going my way, I should put a little bit more in. And basically, statistically, you will always lose. And people who highlight, probably the most extreme form of survivorship bias is people pointing at major winners from gambling, like particularly like lotto winners and whatnot. Go, oh, you say that I'm wasting my money, but look, they won. And it's like, yes, that one person out of all the millions of people, do you know the number of things that are more likely to happen to you than winning a lottery? Being hit by lightning for a start. So it's just like, I don't know if you've heard the term survivorship bias. What it means is, like, when you're looking for what is successful, you look around and see, there are some successful things. I must learn their strategy, for they were successful. And there may have been, for every one success you see, there may have been hundreds of failures doing exactly the same thing or close enough to the same thing. But people make this mistake that's known as survivorship bias. They go, well, I see that particular business is doing a lot. I see that entrepreneur is doing. I see this is doing. So if I did exactly what they did, then I too shall win. It's going, no. And yeah, the most extreme form of survivorship bias is probably pointing at people who win massive prizes in gambling and saying, well, see, they won. It's like, dude, the odds of that ever happening to you, just because for every one winning ticket, there's millions of non-winning tickets. Oh yes, musical aviator, the Irish horse. Cliffs of Moher died at the Melbourne Cup race meet today. That's, I think, the fourth time. I think they is it one each year for the last 4 years? Yeah, but anyway, lots of horses die in horse racing, and because of horse racing, it's shit, quite honestly. And they're not treated great in the meantime either. Oh God, see, David, what you say there is my nightmare. Someone saying they put in a lotto ticket every week and put the same numbers in, and then one week they forgot and those numbers came up and they missed out on $7 million. See, that's why I would never, never, never do that, because it's not just forgetting to put it in one week. There's a whole fucking bunch of different lottos going, millions of dollars a week. You'd have to buy the tickets in, all these different games that run all the time. Or if you're worried that, I don't want to miss out on numbers, because what if you were playing like Oz Lotto every week, but your numbers came up on Super Bowl or whatever the fuck that one's called, so that sort of stuff would just do my head in. That's why if and when I ever get a lotto ticket, I do auto pick, and I never keep the ticket. I never want to remember what the numbers were, because I never want to know that the numbers I had one week actually won another week. That would drive me crazy. That would be so frustrating. Yes, Tendai, US midterm elections, Tuesday their time. So day would be just about dawning for them there. I don't have my phone with me, which has world times on it. World time zones. Wondering what time it is in the world clock. Here we go. Time and date. Bojack Horseman. What time is it right now.com. So it's coming up on 4:30 a.m. in New York. So they're not voting yet. So, I mean, what time do their polls open? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock? So we'd be coming up on somewhere in the next 4 to 6 hours. They'll start voting in the US. Of course, lots of people have been doing advance voting, postal voting, etc. in the US. Yeah, this will be very intriguing to see what happens, because I think it is reasonable to call this midterm election a referendum on Donald Trump. Like, if it turns out the Republicans do well or not terribly, they can claim, see, people love Trump. If the Democrats do particularly well, then they can say, see, everyone's turning on Trump. Now, admittedly, if you're in the Trump camp, they haven't really been playing it up, but this would have to be freaking them out, because the big old impeachment question. So I feel the need to periodically remind people, and they say, oh, we should get rid of Trump, impeach him, send him to jail. Well, impeachment is not a legal process. It's a political process. It's based on a vote in both their Congress and Senate. It's a political process that has some legal trappings. And if Trump was successfully impeached in votes in both the Congress and the Senate, then he would, I think that means he's not president anymore, and then it's much easier to prosecute him for crimes. So if the Democrats got the numbers in both the Congress and the Senate, that would have to freak the Trump camp right the fuck out. Because, he's been making noises about this investigation for months, like, oh, I think this guy Mueller doing the investigation, he's taking too long, it's a witch hunt, there's nothing, I'm going to shut it down. If he loses control, if the Republicans lose control of the Congress and the Senate, he's fucked, because if he made a move on Mueller, they'd move to impeach. And in fact, it's perfectly possible the Mueller investigation team were holding back on actually bringing forward any actionable charges against Trump, to wait until the Democrats had numbers to do anything, because, you know, a Republican-controlled Congress and Senate could just vote to ignore anything Mueller come up with. Oh yes, Raylene, you're highlighting the problems with the US voting system, that they'd probably have a better democracy if they had compulsory voting like we do, or at least automatic registration of voters when they turned 18. And yes, I agree, the polling day should be on a Saturday. The idea that it's on a day when most people have to work, so people have to take time off work to go to a polling station, is fucking ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And look, that is driven in large part by Republicans deciding those policies are more likely to negatively affect Democratic voters as opposed to Republican voters. Rightly or wrongly, it's clearly what they believe. They clearly, if they make it harder and harder to vote, they believe, particularly minority voters who traditionally show strong support for the Democrats, if they make life harder for them and sort of do threats and whatnot, that would affect Democrat votes more than Republican votes. And yes, democracy sausages, that's a must. Like, it's really weird if you ever go to a polling station in Australia and there isn't a sausage sizzle there, it feels like you've been robbed somehow. It's absolutely weird. Mr. Gonzo, you think you registered the vote when you sign up for selective service, but you have to re-register if you don't vote for like 2 years? I don't know, but the idea, the way that people keep getting taken, people get taken off the voter register is fucking ridiculous. And it's very clear Republicans believe that tactic and all the various voter suppression tactics they employ, it's clear they believe that will disproportionately affect Democrat vote as opposed to Republican vote. It's straight up fucking criminal, some of the shit they do, quite honestly. Let's Davey C. Scott Morrison poo-pooed the rumour they might split the next federal election next year. I'm not sure what you mean there. What do you mean by split the next federal election? That's not something I've heard. I'm not actually even sure what it is you're referencing. Oh yeah, I saw that, Tendai. A lot of surveys have shown a massive increase in the registration of young voters. And yes, it does look like Ted Cruz is in for a serious fight with Beto O'Rourke. It would be fun if someone as awful as Ted Cruz suffered, because he is a thoroughly awful person. He's just awful, not just because he's the Zodiac killer. Yes, Musical Aviator, I agree that compulsory voting is an impediment to politicians making it harder for poor people and minorities to vote, yes. Oh, that I thought that might have been what you meant, David, but I wasn't sure. Saying someone suggested they might have a half Senate election and then a House of Reps election at different times, which they can do. That would not fly very well. I'm not sure. Who would they have to get to agree to that? Because I think they don't, well, they don't have the numbers. They don't have the numbers to force something like that. And it would look so fucking desperate. I didn't realize they could drag House of Reps out until November. I thought the late, I'm not asserting myself to be an expert on this, but I kind of thought that they had to have it by around May at the latest. But I haven't looked at the nuts and bolts of that, I have to admit. Was that really? Heard racist robocalls to do with Gillum and Oprah. I've not, but that's another weird thing that happens in America with flyers with fake information and robocalls with fake information. It's so strange. Their system is so corrupt. And I mean, yeah, you know, politicians are corrupt. Politicians are corrupt everywhere. And yes, there tends to be corruption everywhere in politics. But the American system seems particularly corrupt, honestly. That CrossFitter got how to vote for our state election today. Yes, we do have a proper electoral system here. Gives you the option with postal voting and whatnot. I had a canvasser for Labor come to the door the other day, because I think the area where I am might be a relatively safe Liberal seat. And so Labor are doing some door-to-door, seeing if they can reach people. And she said to me, like, oh, what's your biggest concern in the state election? I went, oh, that would be the blatant racism that the Liberals are employing with their filthy fucking lies about the non-existent rampant African gang crime problems. Like, it's like, I'm so fucking appalled at the level of naked racism and blatant pandering to racists with deliberate lies. That's the thing that really bugs me. Dutton keeps opening his ugly fucking mouth on it, and Matthew Guy keeps saying it, and they know they're lying. They've seen the stats. They know the concept that Melbourne people are quaking in their homes. No one will go out at night. They know they are making up complete and utter lies and pandering to racists, and they just do it, and it's a fucking abomination. It's so disgusting. Really pisses me off. I see Debbie saying the latest they can have half Senate is May, and it would be normal to have House of Reps at the same time. Right. Yeah, no, I think that would make them very unpopular if they didn't do House of Reps at the same time as the Senate. I'm not sure what limits it, but yes. CrossFit, what did the canvasser say? She was all for it. She was just like, yep, that makes me super angry. And she's saying, because I'm Jewish, and it's not that long ago that we were the other and all the hate was directed at us. So seeing this pandering to the extremes, to extreme racists in a desperate bid to grab onto power is just awful. I think she was a bit surprised that I went on that so strongly, because I think maybe people say boring shit to canvassers, and I was like, nah, I'm all over this shit. Really, you think there's only 4 with people with your surname in Australia? Take your name and giving companies who find you via electoral roll. Yeah, well, I know Mrs. Angry, because of her work, she's a silent photo. Like her name doesn't appear on any registry searches. And the other benefit of that is apparently you don't have to wait in line at the elections, because they do it slightly differently. So you can just go up and say, hi, yeah, I'm a silent voter, I need to, and you don't have to wait in the line. So, you know, you get privacy and faster voting from what I've seen. So that's a pretty good deal. So, yeah, but yeah, it's the thing with, you know, big data, as they say, when you're on various registries, your stuff to keep coming up in telemarketing. It's kind of like those loyalty cards at shops and supermarkets. And they go, oh, would you like to sign up for a loyalty card? You get this. No, I don't want to be on another fucking registry. I don't want my details on another list that can be sold. Oh God, David, is that a joke or is that a thing that happened? Mark Latham joining One Nation, because it's super predictable that he'd do something like that. All right, Lee, you believe you are the only one with your complete name in the world. That's a big call. I know from Google searches there are a lot of people with my name. My personal favorite was finding out a guy who was the head of the Indigenous Tribal Council in Canada had the same name as me. So yeah, so while he was native North American, clearly someone Scottish married into his family at some point for him to end up with such a Scottish name. So, but the other thing I know is he died a couple of years ago. When I first found out about him, he was still alive. But yeah, I know he died a couple of years ago. Yes, David, the head of the Indigenous Peoples Council. I don't know if he was the head. He was on the Indigenous Peoples Council. Was called AngryAussie. An unusual name for a native Canadian, but it's a big and mysterious world we live in, and you can never be sure what's going to happen. Quite honestly, it's you know, it's just full of surprises, this world of ours. Yeah, so I think speaking of, I have to admit, I am pretty keen to see where the American elections go tomorrow. That will probably make up a topic of a video I do tomorrow. I'll probably wait until there are some sort of definable results in the US. I'm not sure how long that takes. So while I was avoiding news type channels today to avoid any shit about the Melbourne Cup, tomorrow I will probably be obsessively following stuff. I mean, I have a couple things to do tomorrow, but yeah, just like following stuff on Twitter and whatnot. Can you tell them there's some bubble wrap down here, and I've just been obsessively popping it while I'm talking. I'm not sure if the microphone's picking it up at all. Bubble wrap is like, yeah, once you pop, you can't stop, as the saying goes. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's the American elections are a pretty big deal for the entire world, but we'll see. Yeah, I think Trump's spent a bit of time preempting the election result for months now. He's basically been saying things. If the results go badly for the Republicans, it's been rigged, and it's just like his whole behavior of invalidating public institutions is absolutely surreal to me. And the fact that the Republicans have let him get away with it and actively encouraged him is so friggin' disturbing. Raylene, here's a dual citizen. You can vote in Austria. Catherine, I did hear that thing about bubble wrapping wallpaper. I think that was on an episode of QI. They talked about the origins of bubble wrap, and it wasn't originally meant to be used for packaging. That was like after it failed at another use, someone worked out it could significantly reduce breakage in packaging by wrapping stuff up, and of course the little air bubbles forming a cushion. If you see things, I like see things like, you know, latest high-tech bubble wrap, because sometimes you get those ones which are for bigger things, and rather than little bubble wraps, it's like great big pillows of air in the thing. And I also saw one that you basically feel around thing like it's uninflated, and it's the lining of, you know, the box that your product's going in, and then the product's put in the box, and then they zhuzh with some compressed air or something in the bubble wrap lining, and it automatically expands to fill the empty space. So rather than being the same consistency all the way around, it expands to fill the space that's empty around the thing to hold it totally immobile. But I think that's basically much more expensive than bubble wrap. Oh God, Luke, packing peanuts. Yes, I will agree with you. Packing peanuts are annoying. They get everywhere. They make so much mess. Oh, that just reminded me, packing peanuts. I'm expecting a package of clothes. It won't be bubble wrapped. Get this funky coat from a website. I took a risk and ordered stuff off a website. I don't buy that much stuff from websites because I don't like that it's potentially difficult to get refunds. It should arrive this week, according to their tracking thing. It arrived in Melbourne on Monday, yesterday. So with no deliveries today because of the public holiday, depending how long it takes to get out of the sorting centre where it's landed, I'm hoping it gets this week. And because, yeah, because I also, you know, also never know if they've got the sizes right. You know, it's coming from China, and so if this particular jacket, because that's my one weakness is jackets and coats. Different jackets and coats. I really love jackets and coats, and I've been pretty good lately, and haven't been buying jackets. But yeah, I found this website, a pretty cool looking one that was quite cheap, which could just mean it's shit. But I also found another really flamboyant coat on this website that I really want, but I'm not going to get it until I see what their other products like. The other product, and it's good. Like if I really like it, then I'll kind of trust them. Okay, I'm going to get the second one now. But yeah, if the first one arrives and it's kind of shit, either size or quality or whatever, then I won't get anything else. It's kind of funny though, because I went on the website and went, ooh, that looks nice. But I decided I'm going to wait till I get the other thing. But because I'm registered with the website for postage, you know, they're tracking what I looked at on the site. So then I'm getting emails going, hey, you looked at this. You know, you can still get it. We'll give you 10% off. And I thought, that's cool. It was worth waiting then. And then because another week went past, nothing yet, and they went, hey, we'll give you 15% off. So they are offering between 10 and 20% off, depending which day it is. So just been keeping the codes. So if I do like it, we're going to get it. It's as if I'm a shrewd shopper, because by looking at the thing and not buying it, they sent me discount codes, but that wasn't my plan. It was just like, oh, that's cool, but I'm not getting it until I find out what the other ones. But yeah, now I look like a shrewd shopper because they've sent me discount codes. Charlie saw a life hack that said, should use popcorn for packing. Yeah, I agree with you. That seems like a recipe for cockroaches, quite honestly. Does not seem like a good idea. Yes, Tendai, maybe it was a parody of life hacks. I don't know. It's hard to tell because, yeah, some people do really funny parodies of life hacks, but then again, some straight up life hack sites, because they're not jokes, it's all they do. Their life hacks are fucking shit. It's like, for a start, they're inventing a problem that doesn't exist. Like, no one has the problem that they're talking about. And second, their solution for a lot of these things is really fucking convoluted and way more hassle than it's worth. Like a lot of these things, they show like, oh, make your own blah, 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 and there's this really complicated process for making something, or it's a thing, there's a thing you can buy for 50 cents that does it, rather than, you know, do this life hack bullshit. It's like, but you know, again, sites are just desperate for clicks. Like, whoever was the first person who came up with life hack, you know, genius them. They come up with the thing that's been imitated millions of times since. But yeah, it's a long time since I've seen something labeled life hack that's made me go, wow, that's actually really quite seriously useful. That's a very positive thing. Like, seriously, like the last one I used, I think, was using the little clips off bread, you know, the little clips you get on a loaf of bread, putting that on cables and writing on it what cable this is. You know, like, particularly like for home entertainment, you have so many things plugged in the back of the TV, like, the fuck is this? It's like, oh, that's the PS4, that's the amplifier, that's the Blu-ray, that's this, that's that, and the same with, you know, the number of things you can have plugged into a computer as well. So that was simple and effective, and I liked it. Just rather than wondering what cable am I looking at, like where everything's plugged into a power board, like, oh God, what plug is this? And tracing it back and trying not to lose track of anything. Actually, when you put it in, put a little label on it, and just using those tags off loaves of bread. Great, brilliant, they're awesome. Hey, who wants a diversion? I was thinking play 20 questions. Remember the 20 questions game? I know what you're thinking. Try and get it to think of something: animal, vegetable, or mineral. Think of something. Anyone got a suggestion of what we should get it to think of? I feel like doing something obscure like a mantis shrimp. I actually don't think, I played with this a bit, and I don't think it's actually that good at guessing things. I'm super upset that the one I used to have, like years ago when I was doing the live stream, it's a big one that looked like a flying saucer and everything around. It seemed uncannily good at guessing. Like, it was really quite freaky sometimes what it would guess. I had a Simpsons one as well. It was like this, except it was donut shaped, and it would guess Simpsons, places, people, things. And it was old enough that it was just classic Simpsons, not shitty new ones. So it was only sort of the real classic, actually good episodes of The Simpsons. But yes, yeah, I agree, CrossFitter, that thing was spooky. Every now and then, it was kind of like, as it gets closer to 20 questions, sometimes you'd see it was asking questions that were clearly going in the right direction, and you go, oh, it's got it, it's got it, it's got it, and it would get it. And other times it didn't seem to have asked the right questions at all. It felt like it was completely wrong. And then I'd go, oh, I guess, and it guessed right. And it was really quite disconcerting. This one can't guess Simpsons stuff. I think the Simpsons one probably broke. I have no idea where it is. It may still be around somewhere in a box. If I ever see it, I'll test it and see if it's still working. And we could do Simpsons 20 questions. No, this just guesses generic stuff: animal, vegetable, or mineral. CrossFitter selected a lake. I was thinking of really obscure and saying mantis shrimp. Yes, can't do celebrity head because I'd see what was on my head. Catherine, how does it know? It works, it's basically, it's a logic tree. Someone has programmed, see, when humans play 20 questions, there's intuition and your own knowledge and whatnot. But because a machine doesn't have intuition and doesn't guess as such, someone's built a series of yes/no questions. It's like, it goes animal, vegetable, mineral, other. And under animal, it's got however many 100 or 1,000 things. And same with vegetable, mineral, and other. And then with each of the questions, it's going like, okay, for animal, I've got these 100 questions that I can ask and randomly pick one. And when you answer that question, that eliminates some of the possibilities from its database. And it works down, 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 down. So it only works as well as its database that's built to do it. And, this is a pretty simple one. This was designed in the 90s, I think. So I think, yeah, this was like a 20th anniversary thing or something. So, yeah. I'm going to go with CrossFitter's one, lake. That's like a slightly ambiguous one. So that's not animal, vegetable, or mineral, is it? That's other. A lake is other. Because the first thing when you say ready, go, is it animal? No. Vegetable? No. Mineral? No. Other? Yes. Okay. So it's not animal, vegetable, or mineral. Is it pleasurable? Is a lake pleasurable? Well, it can be. It can be pleasurable. There's a maybe option here as well. There's yes, no, and maybe. So I'm going to say maybe. A lake may be pleasurable. 2, is it small? See, well, what's small? I'm going to say no. Lakes are a certain size. It's not a puddle. It's a lake. I'm going to say no. A lake isn't small. That's an arbitrary. Sometimes you're going to make really arbitrary calls on this. Is it colorful? No. Like gray or blue if they're reflecting the sky. I don't think they qualify as colorful. I'm going to say no. Now, a lot of questions. Is it smooth? Is a lake smooth? Kinda, yeah. No, I think it's even in a storm. I think it's fair to say a lake is smooth. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, a lake is smooth. Question 6. Is it a synthetic material? No. Okay, at least that's a clear one. Synthetic material, no, it's a natural material. It's water. Do you use it in your home? No. Unless you live on a boathouse, I guess. Can you put something into it? Yes, you can put lots of things into a lake. You can definitely put something into a lake. That's a yes. Now, it's just this thing. Pretends it's thinking. I have to think for a minute, But that's just a random thing it does. It doesn't mean it's meant to give it personality. Does it come in different colors? Well, yeah, it can, depending on the mineral content in a lake and the sediment in a lake. It can be, yeah, I think, yes, it can be different colors. Does it have a handle? Does a lake have a handle? No. No, it does not. That's the halfway mark. That's 10 questions. Okay. Can it be used for recreation? Yes, most definitely. Bodies. You didn't mean to type that. That's a weird thing to not mean to type, CrossFitter, honestly. Can it be used for recreation? Clearly, yes, it can. Boating and swimming and fishing and whatnot. Can you play with it? You can play with it, you can play in it. Would it be fair to say you can play with it? See, I worry that if I answer wrong, I'm unfairly misleading it. But I'm leaning towards yes. Can you play with it? I'm going to say yes, you can play with it. Question 13. Do you clean it regularly? No, probably should. Honestly, probably should clean lakes regularly, but I think it's accurate to say no, we don't, which is unfortunate. Is it flexible? Well, yeah, it's not solid, it's a lake. So although flexible is not a word I generally use to describe a lake, I'm going to say, is it flexible? Yes, because it's certainly not solid or rigid, so it must be flexible. Can it think? No. Really? Yes. No. So much for that idea. See, it keeps pretending to have a personality, which is an interesting thing to build in. Can you smell it? Yes, I think the answer is yes. I was going to say maybe, but I think just straight up, you can smell a lake, definitely. So I'll say yes. Okay, question 17. Is it something you bring along? No, that would be quite a neat trick, bringing a lake along with you. But no, you do not bring a lake along with you. Is it bigger than a sofa? Yes, because it would be a puddle if it was smaller than a sofa. It's like, survey says, oh, it's going to have a guess. It's before 20, it's going to have a guess. It's, it says a C. Wow, it's very close. It's very close, but no, we were going for a smaller body. So I think I've answered the questions right, because it's guessed a body of water. But I'm going to say no, it isn't the sea. It must be, the ocean. Don't be dumb. A sea, the ocean? No, it basically knows, but it hasn't said lake. So it's going to ask a couple more questions. Can you ride on it? You can ride a jet ski. I don't know. Are you riding a lake or are you riding a jet ski on it? What's the right answer to that? Can you ride? I'm leaning towards yes. But it depends how you mean ride on it. You don't ride on a lake, but you can go for a ride on a jet ski or a boat on a lake. I'm going to say yes, sod it. Okay, question 22. Does it like to play? No, it's not sentient. Sorry, I just said, should bring a friend and play Pie Face. That would be fun. I'll have to talk someone into it. Is it soft? Yes, unless you hit it really hard. Can you buy it? I'm going to say no. Maybe you can buy some lakes, but I'm going to say no. This is question 25. This is its last guess. I will guess again. It's a woman. Okay. Oh my God. I just it guessed a woman, and one of the questions that led it to guess a woman was, can you ride it? Excuse me. Excuse me very much, 20 questions. Good Lord. I'm affronted. That's a very Irish term, riding for sex. It's only because I've been listening to the Blind Boy podcast. He's an Irish comedian who has a stage name Blind Boy Boat Club, and so he'll slip those terms when he's talking about riding. But the one I hadn't heard, he's part of a comedy duo, excuse me, called the Rubber Bandits. They have a lot of good songs on YouTube. The Rubber Bandits YouTube channel has a lot of good songs on it. You should check it out. their stuff is really good. But yeah, I'd heard writing before. That's probably from Roddy Doyle movies, the guy who wrote The Commitments and The Snapper and The Van. They would talk about writing. But a term I heard for the first time from the Rubber Bandits was shifting. Has anyone heard the term shifting and know what it means? Bury sliding in to the DMs. Good time, because we're just talking about writing in relation to women, the 20 questions machine. But yeah, has anyone heard the term, or can anyone guess what in Irish vernacular shifting is? And of course, you could cheat and go off and search for that online. But I'm intrigued if anyone has heard it, if anyone knows what the term shifting means. Because it's not descriptive at all. I don't know why in Irish vernacular shifting means what it means. It's not suggestive of it at all. It's not like, some words they like the sound. It's onomatopoeic, or it's a visual descriptor. This one is not a shift. Yeah, see, as you're saying, Raylene was a girl in high school, ridden so well she was a school bike. That's a saying that's been around for ages, referring to someone as the town bike or whatever, because everyone's ridden. So yes, that particular derogatory term has been on for ages. So yeah, although not a lot of people outside Ireland refer to sex as riding, everyone knows it, and that's obvious. Riding is an obvious sex term, and this other term, shifting, is not obvious like that at all. I have no idea how they came to use this term shifting, because I was like, really? And I was like, okay, I'm going to give you like 1 more minute to think, what might shifting mean? I'm going to try a salty gay time. It's just in the freezer. I'm going to grab one. Legs work. Right. Like people say, how old are you? Say, I am of the age where I tend to make noise when I get up, either from sitting or lying down. It's very hard for me, or it's very uncommon for me to get up without going, Luke, it's definitely having a gay time in the stream, a salty gay time. This is a salty gay time. Never had one before, going to try it. All right, we're going to try. Yes, in Irish vernacular, and I found this out because I was probably just watching some Rubber Bandits videos, and one popped up and suggested that I hadn't seen before, even though I was like 5 years old or something. I hadn't seen it. And the song was called I Like to Shift Girls. And I just thought, what the fuck does that mean? I'm going to watch it because I don't know what I like to shift girls means. And it just means kissing. Apparently, that is a generally used term, at least in some areas of Ireland. The Rubber Bandits are from Limerick. Apparently, yeah, shifting, it just means kissing. So there you go. You've learned something tonight. So now you might learn something else, like whether or not I like a salty gay time. Okay, that's actually pretty good. See, it looks like a normal gay time on the inside, but I don't know if it's just the coating or this. It actually does have a salted caramel flavor. I have been told it's really gross to watch someone eating on video. In fact, I was told that many years ago. I did a communications degree at college, and I saw the style guide for a TV station. So I grew up in the country, particularly country stations. City stations use them as well, but very much country stations who have less resources. They use independent people to shoot video of things called stringers. In fact, there's that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal where he's the creepy sociopathic guy who gets into making shooting video for the TV station. He's a stringer. But yeah, this guide for stringers said, like at social events, don't shoot video of people eating because it's gross and no one wants to see that. And no one looks good eating, but you're going to see me eating. So Biora, you're not going to have a salty gay time, okay? So you're using time doing city drawing, immersing yourself into Dungeons and Dragons. Nice. Turning into a has-been hotel fan. I don't know what that is. Oh my God. Raylene, you watch people vicariously because you have too many allergies. Have your allergies gotten worse as time has gone? I know that happens. But I guess the thing that puts the light to that thing that watching people eat is gross, the thing that got really popular in South Korea, mukbang, just watching people eat on video. And I think there's a companionship thing in that. So people don't feel as alone if they're like with someone who's eating. Oh, really? And you had gastric bypass surgery and it brought up a bunch of allergies. That sucks. It's pretty good. Better than the other flavor varieties. I didn't like any of the other flavor varieties at all. It Has Been Hotel is a webtoon coming out in 20. Oh, so this is a project you're working on. Nice. About the daughter of Satan trying to rehabilitate denizens of hell in an attempt to dwindle the overpopulation. Overpopulation usually solved by purges. Nice. Raylene, allergic to sulfites and sulfates, and I guess that's in a lot of food. It's actually really quite good. Quite enjoying this. A Bury project is part musical. Nice. Ollie saying the mukbang is watching people eat a lot. In a lot of cases, yes, it is. But yeah, apparently there are people who make a living by eating on video, which is super weird. This world of ours, very strange. All right, okay, really, over 70% of processed food, a lot of non-processed food uses as preservative. That must suck. Very fortunate I don't have any allergies. Don't know how I got that lucky. I had a friend years ago, he developed allergies to just about everything. And it manifested in really bad ways, like the skin in his hands was drying out and cracking and bleeding. So he had to have lotion slathered on his hands all the time. And he wore gloves basically all the time to cover his hands up and protect them and try and help them heal. And then he went with this radical thing when the doctors were trying to work out exactly what was causing it. They're like, okay, we're going to take a radical move, and we're going to do stage. And stage one is you're not allowed to eat anything but rice, and we're going to see if you have any allergies there. And if you're okay with rice, then we're going to try one more. Basically, adding food items one at a time to identify what he was allergic to. It was a fucking drama. So look, you think if I had 100 of these, that would be a proper mukbang. I don't see that happening. Well, that was actually pretty good. Quite had. Oh wow, Eileen, you can't have sausages because from the supermarket because of their preservatives and stuff. You're saying sausage sizzles are torture. Is that torture because the stuff gets airborne and attacks you, or is it just because you like the smell but you can't have it? You can't have wine. Oh, I don't like wine, but the preservatives are probably in spirits too, I guess. You're right. You say having 100 of anything is bad for anyone. Now, what's that comedian's like? I forgot. He's dead now. I can't quite think of his name, but he had a line about rice is great if you want 1,000 of something. So you can have 100 grains of rice without too much drama. And that's because you love snags and the smell of the sausage sizzle is taunting you. Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, honestly, if I developed an allergy to my favorite foods, that would be super frustrating. Yeah, like even like cooking meat and stuff. Oh yeah, Aileen, I'm not surprised you can't have fast food if you got that many allergies. Wow, you'd have to be really selective where you got all your food from. Like you have to get fresh food and be really selective who you got it from. And then when you worked out someone who was selling stuff that was safe for you, you just have to stick with it. That's it. Yori Mitch Hedberg. Hedberg? Was it? Was that his name? Oh no, it was Mitch Head something. If I go Mitch Head, yeah, Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg. Okay, cool. Someone always knows. When I can't remember names, someone always knows. A guy who got a sausage sizzle from Bunnings with a drone, and then he got fined for illegal use of a drone. Because I don't know, he's doing it to go viral or something. Like, for those who don't know, he sent a drone not far. Like, he didn't live very far from this place that was doing the sausage sizzle. And he sent the drone over and had a basket on it, and the camera and hovered in front of the people and had the money in the basket and said, you know, one sausage sandwich, please. And they made it and they put it in the basket and off he flew. And yeah, then it became a news story, and then he got fined because that was illegal. You're not allowed to fly drones that close to people, basically. Not sure how much he got fined, but I'm pretty sure he got fined, yes. Oh, Buri, is stuff from Has Been Hotel been released already? Okay, even though it's not finished. Okay. Hey, look, Has Been Hotel. I'm going to do a quick search. Oh yeah, Has Been Hotel comes up pretty quickly. Okay, the YouTube channel appears to be called Vivzipop. Vivzipop? And I was just going to look and see how many videos they had. Vivzipop got well. Vivzipop has 1 million subscribers. Good on them. Wow, and the trailer for Has Been Hotel has 3 million, no, 4 million, almost 4 million views. So, okay, they released a clip just 5 days ago. Some stuff a month ago. So they seem to be releasing, for the last couple months, they've released 2 or 3 clips a month. And they first released stuff, is that a year ago? Oh no, that's other stuff. Okay, the person behind the channel did other stuff, speed drawing. So they did a teaser about 10 months ago. And then they started releasing more stuff 6 months ago. Okay, that looks interesting. And for those, if anyone's watching this, back, or even now, if anyone's watching it back later, it's HAZBIN Hotel, Has Been Hotel. Yeah. There's a lot of interesting animation going on in the world. Really, because is anyone going to see the Harry Potter spin-off movie, the Wizarding World movie, the second Fantastic Creatures one? I'm torn because I will say the possibly controversial view that the first one in this series, Fantastic Creatures and Where to Find Them, I think it's better than any Harry Potter movie. And I know a lot of people are going to regard that as sacrilege. I never read the Harry Potter books. I did watch all the Harry Potter movies. I think I've watched them all at least twice, actually. And I didn't hate the Harry Potter movies. I just thought Fantastic Creatures and Where to Find Them was a much better movie. Now, where I'm conflicted with The Crimes of Grindelwald is because they insisted on casting piece of shit Johnny Depp, and he is such a piece of shit. Really feel like he shouldn't really be rewarded with a career, because there are so many other talented people who arguably aren't as shitty as Johnny Depp. You know, just an abusive, obnoxious git. So I think casting him was a really fucking bad idea. Ooh, Charlie, recommend the Harry Potter audiobooks read by Stephen Fry. It actually does sound pretty good. I mean, what did I go see? I went and saw the Queen movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, which has got really mixed reviews, but I really liked it. I went with Mrs. Angry on Saturday night for a date night. And we both really enjoyed it. It was a great ride. Like, a lot of people are arguing it was not factually accurate or left out a lot of stuff or overplayed some stuff or left stuff out, which is what every biopic does anyway, because they're trying to do a narrative arc. But yeah, we both really enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody. And I have to admit, I did spend quite a bit of time marveling at how much the actors they cast looked like the members of Queen. Like, not dead ringers, not like, oh, it's, if you put them next to each other, they're probably like looking in the mirror. And because when you're casting an actor in that, well, the temptation is to go for whoever looks the most like the character, the real person they're playing, cast them. But, you know, they've got to be good actors as well. But yeah, every now and then there'd be a particular angle on one of the actors, and I'd just be like, fuck, that really looks like a real person. Including Rami Malek playing Freddie Mercury. because most of the time you're looking at him and he's not at all a dead ringer for Freddie Mercury, but he does have the general look. And they've done the prosthetic teeth, so he has Freddie Mercury's huge teeth coming out, and so, you know, he's enough of you know, has the visual vibe of Freddie Mercury that it's not distracting. You're not sitting there going, "That guy doesn't look anything like Freddie Mercury." But every now and then, like on a particular angle with Rami Malek, it's just like, holy fuck, that looked exactly like Freddie Mercury. That's amazing. So yeah, I'm with you, Catherine. The quality of the actor should be a bigger driver than how much they look like the person they're playing. But I think they did a pretty phenomenal job with the casting of the actors looked enough like the members of Queen that you weren't sort of jolted out of it by thinking that just doesn't look right. And occasionally there'd be a particular angle and just, oh shit, they look exactly like them there. But broadly, like I said, it's got very mixed reviews, so it clearly isn't for everyone. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it, but Mrs. Angry and I did. Buri, lots of Freddy's cats in there. Yes, Freddy's cats feature very prominently. So, and I'm going to diverge for a bit. Again, this is well, Catherine, I think it's worth going to see. Mrs. Angry and I both really enjoyed it. I'm going to throw the old hot take in. A thing that bugs me, and like, because you know, you don't, everyone here is quite familiar with my videos, so you know I take on the social issues, and I don't remotely regard the name social justice warrior as a negative. I don't regard that as even slightly negative, and I think people who use that as a negative are dickheads, quite honestly. And phrasing that usually pisses me right off is when people saying like you know, say, and this you know, Halloween was just on, just people saying, hey, how about you don't use blackface at Halloween because it's hideously fucking offensive. And you get these people go like, oh, you're just trying to find something to be offended about. It's the outrage industry. You're trying to find something to be outraged about. And 9 times out of 10, that really shits me. And I get really pissed off at people who say that. But there was this incident when the first trailers for Bohemian Rhapsody came out. People started getting worked up and saying, I'm not going to go see it because I heard that they're completely ignoring Freddie's bisexuality and they're not even going to address the fact that he contracted AIDS. And these people, they had zero basis for making this claim. Apparently, a gay news outlet ran with it. Someone saying they'd seen a version of the script that they claimed this script didn't mention Freddie's sexuality at all and didn't mention AIDS at all. And so people were being preemptively outraged by something they hadn't seen because they'd heard from a third party that something of a front was happening. And if you go back and look at the early trailers, that really doesn't seem to be the case because they have meaningful shots of Freddie putting his hand on a dude's thighs and having meaningful eye contact. So it seemed, even from those early trailers, it was going to be pretty gay. These people seemed like they were talking shit. And yeah, I've seen it, and it absolutely doesn't shy away from Freddie's sexuality or the fact he contracted AIDS. It's all in there. Well, not necessarily all in there, but it's in there. That was a genuine example of people doing the outrage thing wrong, like getting worked up about something they hadn't seen and they had no objective evidence for. And I found that really strange, but that's what people do sometimes. Hello, Belinda. Not that long till I'm signing off, but yes. Hi, Raylene. Yes, I did see Rihanna say, "Don't use my music," because it came across some pro-Trump person saying how cool and exciting Trump rallies were. It's great, you know, Rihanna's playing, everyone's happy, which is like the complete opposite. Or actually see like Trump whipping them up and going, the fake media, Hillary, and just this hate mob screaming, oh, fake news, lock her up, lock her up. So this person trying to say, no, it's a fun, happy vibe, everyone's smiling, they're playing Rihanna. And Rihanna replied on Twitter going, no fucking way me or any of my people would have anything to do with Trump. Bullshit. Really saying the Game of Thrones author or director asked Trump not to use the phrases from the show. I hadn't heard that. What did Trump said about Game of Thrones? It boggles the mind what he might. Well, I think Trump's a friggin' Trump's a Lannister because he wants to fuck his daughter. The Lannisters, the Lannisters are all incestuous. Oh no, not just the Lannisters. The Targaryens are actually more. That's right. I should have said Targaryen because the Lannister incest is secret and frowned upon, but the Targaryens were very open with their intramarital things. Okay, Trump said sanctions are coming in relation to Iran, which was supposed to echo winter is coming. Yeah, I think Trump would definitely see himself as a Targaryen because they're completely incestuous. Yeah, Trump just likes reminding us on the semi-regular he really wants to bang his daughter, which is, yes, super, super creepy. Yeah, super creepy. I mean, I saw references today. This is another one. Even someone as anti-Trump as me, when I delved into it, I thought, these people, that's close to deliberate misrepresentation. A lot of people saying, oh, Trump just said how political correctness means he can't say his daughter's beautiful because he's creepy as fuck and everyone knows he wants to fuck his daughter. And what he had actually said, and it was a stupid, dumb as shit thing he said. He went on this thing about he's going to bring his daughter that he wants to bang up on stage, Ivanka, and saying, well, you know, political correctness culture means that, you know, you can't call a woman beautiful. All you men out there, you're never allowed to call your wives or girlfriends or daughters beautiful again. But I can say that she's really smart. And so the first couple of reports I said of it were really just playing up like Trump wants to bang his daughter and he's saying PC culture says that he can't go on about how beautiful she is. So he'll just say she's smart. And so I honestly think those people were indulging in a bit of deliberate misrepresentation. But what Trump actually said was fucking stupid. That nobody says that you don't call someone you're close to beautiful. What a lot of people, and I'd be one of them, says you don't gratuitously go to women either that you don't know or particularly in a professional setting, make a big deal going, oh, you're so beautiful, because, well, you're just objectifying them basically, and it's creepy. But the idea that anyone is suggesting you don't call your intimate partner beautiful is fucking ridiculous. But then again, I mean, it's absolutely pointless bringing up something Trump says and go, well, that was fucking stupid, wasn't it? What kind of fuckwit says that? Trump says that. He's a fuckwit. And his supporters don't care. Again, it's pointless trying to turn a Trump supporter by saying, don't you see that awful thing he just said or did? That's awful. You shouldn't support him. Because that's exactly why they support him. Because he says obnoxious shit like this. Because they've invented this world where they're repressed and can't be themselves. And PC culture's keeping them down. And because Trump clearly doesn't give a shit about any level of human decency. It's like, yeah, he's a straight talker. I love it. So the idea that you're going to sway a Trump supporter by saying, oh, look at that terrible, awful thing he just said or did. How can you support that? The terrible, awful shit is exactly why they support him. And it's fucking pointless to sort of drum it up and go, oh, see, look at you, because he's just going to say something worse the day after. That's the pattern. It's like nothing means anything. He's never held accountable for anything he says or does. Like, forget rude, obnoxious, insulting, bigoted, vile. Forget all those things. He's not held accountable for lying. Like, he straight up lies. Sometimes between the start and the end of a sentence, one of his ridiculous rambling run-off sentences, he will contradict himself from the start to the finish of bloody word diarrhea that dribbles out of his fucking mouth. And it doesn't mean anything. Nothing he says means anything. He's never held accountable. No one cares. And nothing means anything. So this is why we just hope, God, this is depressing. But I've got a very dry throat. I need to go and get a drink, and I might actually wrap up. But we'll hope that our American brethren give a resounding victory to the Democrats. Not that they're all super awesome and wonderful, but if the Democrats have the number to really turn the thumb screws on Trump, then we're going to see some interesting shit happening, quite honestly. So I'm looking forward to see what happens. So I hope you all take care of yourselves. Yeah, and I'm going to pay attention to these election results tomorrow and probably make a video about it tomorrow night if there's results. So I recommend you have a salty gay time. I actually really liked that. And I must never mention it to Aidsy, because it shall be impossible to control him if he finds out about me having a salty gay time. So we'll do that. Oh, the other fun thing to look out for is I was conversing online with Mistress M today. She lives in Adelaide now. I live in Melbourne. We're a long way away from each other, but we were talking about we are definitely going to look at doing a video together, probably via Skype or something. So we're going to experiment and see how it works, because you really missed doing videos with Mistress M. So hopefully you will be seeing that soon. Now, Catherine, AZ won't be watching. His internet's not good enough at his place. So yeah, I hope you all look after yourselves. I hope to see you again soon. But for now, I will say bye-bye. And I